Z.AI claims their new GLM 4.7 model beats Claude and other models on coding benchmarks. I spent hours building a new version of my card game to compare. Here's what actually happened. Z.AI introduced their new GLM 4.7 LLM model this week. The model claims really high AI coding benchmarks, and it's open source, so I wanted to give it a try. I used the Z.AI web chat. I don't have access to 16 H100 GPUs available to run this locally. I asked the LLM to review my existing game from GitHub and suggest improvements. It recommended rewriting the code so the mechanics and the visuals were separate from the logic. This is probably true that this is an issue. I've never actually looked at the code of the game, but I know many of the gameplay bugs get fixed in specific cases, not globally. So I agreed and it started writing code for a new version of the game. GLM didn't do a good job of reading all the GitHub material, or at least understanding the material. It built a much more generic rummy game. Worked on basic fixes, and then I decided to tell it to implement the actual custom rummy rules for my version of the game. This is where things fell apart. Normal prompt cycle back and forth. I would report as many issues as I can in a single prompt. It would fix half or a third of them, and the cycle would repeat until we got down to a few issues. At this point, I've spent hours working on this, and the game is semi-playable. I would have run enough tokens on Claude Pro or any Claude account multiple times by now, and I'm still using the free web version. The graphics gameplay is much better than my current Claude code build version, but the logic is still incorrect. More time back and forth trying to get all the logic right, but I could never get it to do everything I want. Occasionally, GLM would wish to revert back to a more basic, generic rummy game. I gave up after a total of 38 prompts. My takeaways? The app's graphics and mechanics are nice. The gameplay logic is mostly a failure. This was just one test, so I'm sure other use cases may be worse or better. I wouldn't recommend GLM as a replacement for Claude, but it's an excellent bang for your buck at $3 a month. If you have a mature workflow that you can offload specific tasks to GLM to save your high-value tokens and other models, or if you can run this locally yourself, this is an opportunity to optimize your AI workflow with models like GLM.